I think something magical will happen. I just know it. Something magical will happen. Restart the server. Hello world. Okay. Stuff is breaking. Foo. 500 error. Stuff is breaking. Still. Sure. So this is a generator factory function. And this is a generator factory function. But we invoke this, so what we get back is a generator. And we invoke this, so what we get back is a generator. And the last thing it yields... Okay, I see the problem. I see the problem. Let's go back to routes. And let's get this response, because we're not actually wrapping this in a response, we're just yielding a stream. So what we actually want to say is view is yield this view. Again, our silly abstraction hasn't worked. It's a lot better than it was, but it's still a bit broken. 404. Okay. Refresh this. Totally broken. Sure. That's because we aren't using this response in here anymore. So back to index. Back to here. I'm not going to worry about the order. Oops, 404! No kidding. No kidding. Oops, oops 500. Now how we test that is we just change this to post. So the root route expects a post to slash, and if we do a get to slash, we need to restart the server. If we do a get to slash, oops 405, because the method's not allowed. I am not sure how we replace the oops 500. I will have to look into that. But look at what we've done. Look at what we've done today. We have enabled static file serving with a kind of rudimentary. Oh, crumbs! I deleted this. Anyone spot what I did? I deleted the thing to serve static files. Anyway. We have done a kind of rudimentary static file serving. So if we head into here, we can actually make this the index view. Index.php, paste this junk in here. I'll get back to summary. I'm like that dog on Up, who's like, bird, bird. View is yield, view index, and then we just replace these here. And we have our static file serving back, restart the server, refresh the index page. Hello world! Fantastic. Okay, so today, just to summarize, because I am really pumped up on how awesome this is going, we have enabled static file serving through this route. It does some rudimentary MIME type checking. So if it sees a CSS extension, it sets that to CSS and sets this to JavaScript. This is actually also a rudimentary type of whitelist for files. So, we can do some security around here. This is potentially not the safest approach, but anyway, we can serve static files from the public folder. If the file's not found, we can probably yield a... Shucks. We can probably do something like yield a 400 error. Else stream is yield... 404. Do the same here. Well, let's do this up here as the default, actually. That makes sense. So the default MIME is HTML because the default view is 404. Dun, 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 dun. I also want to rename this variable from stream to file because that'll look better in the code. Okay, default MIME is HTML, default view is the 404 view if the file parameter is set and the file path exists. Change the MIME type and change the file, otherwise just render the 404. Let's restart the server. Oops, 404. The JavaScript and HTML and CSS stuff isn't loading, and I think it's because I need these leading slashes, as I thought I did. We probably also want to have a local version of jQuery on the off chance that it takes forever to load from the remote source. Is this good? No, for some reason it's not loading this stuff in. Why is it not loading this stuff in? Am I doing this MIME type thing wrong again? Anyway, okay. Back to summary. We're doing rudimentary file serving, which is what we started out doing, and this is doing non-blocking file I/O from the Icicle file system library. We also have added the ability to do views, a very simple view system. So we have this helper file, and we create a stream from a file that exists, again using the asynchronous file I/O stuff. And this lets us render views a lot easier. Now we want to extend this later on to do actual template parsing, but we don't have to worry about that right now. And then we've integrated this view stuff back into our index page so that we can serve 404 errors, 500 errors, and later on 404, 405, and later on 500 errors once I figure out how to do that. But this has come a long way. I'm really psyched about this. I think I'm going to call it there because I'm I kind of feel like doing other stuff now. But thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you want to see future stuff, you can check out the archive for like previous recordings. You can follow on Twitch to get notifications, email notifications of this stuff. Or on Twitter if you want to talk to me, you can tweet at assertchris, that's fine. And I will see you. Oh, yes. Tomorrow there is a meetup that I'm going to. It is the Wellington CompSci meetup. We basically get together and folks who know very little about this kind of stuff, designing algorithms and how they're implemented and just basically CompSci stuff. We're all learning it together, and I'm going to try and stream it. I'm going to try and stream it live so that folks who can't make it can still watch it, and so that there's some kind of recording of it. So I'm not going to do one of these streams tomorrow. I am rather going to live stream that meetup, and you can tune in. Let me just check what time it is. Meetup. But you can tune into that and you can watch it, and that'll be fun. Or you can see a recording of it if you don't want to watch it, or I don't know, maybe it's not your thing. I'm really sorry about that if it's not your thing. I hope it is. It's totally my thing. CompSci is totally my thing. Anyway, watch that. I'll be back streaming code, probably Icicle, on Friday, and maybe Saturday and Sunday too. Who knows? Next week, someone requested that I do live streaming of Eris, which is, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. It is another asynchronous library in PHP, but it's particularly interesting not because of the base library implementation to me, but because it also supports sockets. And Icicle doesn't have a WebSocket implementation yet. It's got a raw socket implementation. So I'm interested to see how Eris works. I want to do some React.js stuff with WebSockets in PHP, so I think that's a good candidate. I'm really not interested in doing WebSockets with React PHP anymore. So that's what's happening next week. Tomorrow's the meetup. I'll be back on Friday with more Icicle code because I want to do more cool Icicle things. Follow on Twitch to see more of this. Tomorrow's meetup is at 7 p.m. So instead of the usual time that the stream starts, it's an hour earlier. Hopefully you can make it. If you can't, you can watch the recording. And I hope that it's a good recording. It's the first time I'm recording a meetup. And this is a particularly weird meetup. It's not a traditional meetup format that I'm used to. It's just a bunch of people sitting around and talking. So maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Hard to tell. But I'm going to go now. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching and for asking questions and stuff. You're awesome. I'll see you later. Bye.